My friends, welcome to Talk Casual. I'm broadcasting live here in the Outer Rim at the Fly Casual headquarters. As always, I'm the Grand Master Assault, the Marz. And welcome to this grand evening where we go and look back at AdeptiCon 2025 and the Star Wars Armada World Championships. And let's start off. First off, welcome to all. Welcome this evening. Apologies that I didn't do it last week. I actually did get the convention flu, so hence why I was out of commission. So I am now here. Let's go through. I'm going to talk about my prep. I'm going to talk about the venue. I'm going to talk about the days of Worlds, even my travel, and I'm going to have a bit of a chat on what I did right, what I did wrong. There was a lot of wrong. Trust me, there was a lot of things wrong. And it was a great event. Absolutely. Just to nut it down, just to fill it out on top, just to say first things first, it was the best. It was one of the best Adepticons I've ever been. Apart from my result where I ended up, it was probably one of the best Adepticons I've been to. And the change of venue was probably the best thing for it. Right, let's start off with the prep of how I came to Worlds. So this was the strangest Worlds ever because there was no, this was actually an open Worlds compared to the last other Worlds where you had to earn yourself a ticket. This time round, this was an open Worlds, anyone could come in. There wasn't any competitive season per se that happened. There were some events in Australia. There were some grand tournaments. There was the Brisbane GT and the Canberra GT. Brisbane GT I played my Omega Interdictor and realized I probably needed to change that. And then for the Canberra one, as you know, I was streaming most of it. So I was more into streaming than playing. So prepping for Worlds was going to be a little different because one, at that time, we didn't know when this October change was going to come. As we knew, it was going to take a little bit longer than October than AMG did say. So I didn't want to really actually start prepping something and flying it before we even knew what the rules were going to change, what the points updates were going to change. So when the changes did come, I did come up with this ISD1 interdictor, about 110 points of squadrons. It was okay. It was something. I wanted to try something different. I wanted to, after the Brisbane GT, I wanted to drop the Omega. I realized that the Omega is too much of a one-trick pony, and it always seems to not work for me. So I needed to drop that Omega and actually try something different, something fresh, something that actually, works. And, back in the day, I used to play ISD Interdictor, and I always loved playing that. That was my bread and butter. So I decided to go back, but I really wanted to mostly, because I was talking to Andrew on the way back from Brisbane, and drop the aces and do more generics. So that's why I went with a just generic ball of TIEs. I had there was 4 TIE Fighters, Howlrunner, Saber, and then what was it? It was Marek and Jendon. And I dropped a Goz for it with an ISD1 and Interdictor. I started playing with that. I was doing okay, but I wasn't doing it wasn't working out how I wanted it to be. Like, there were some games I was just scraping a win, and I was working really hard for that win. And no offense to the playing group that we have around, but if I'm doing that with the main group of our playing guys, I knew I was going to struggle for Worlds. So a week out from Worlds, I decided to change my list. And I probably went to something that I probably felt was a bit more comfortable for me. And probably I in the end, I didn't get enough practice on it. I feel like that this list didn't have enough. I didn't have enough runs on it. This is probably the first worlds I ever went to without knowing what I was going to fly for a while. The other worlds I kind of had I was playing 6 months in advance when I knew I was flying, and I kept playing and I kept playing and playing and playing. But now this was the first ever worlds where I had no clue what I wanted to fly. So I'll show you my list now. I'll transfer over to the list. This is the list I took to worlds. So I flew an ISD-2 with Emperor Palpatine, electric countermeasures, leading shots, XI-7 turbo lasers, and sovereign title. With Admiral Piet, an interdictor with Admiral Piet, Captain Brunson, auxiliary shield teams, decaps, grav shift rewrote, targeting scramblers, heavy iron emplacements, and interdictor title. Then we had Hondo Hanaka and Comsnet. And for squadrons, we had Colonel Jendon, Marek Steele, Valen Rudor, and Tel Tavura. Squadron-wise, it's basically the same as before. I feel like these 4 aces were just... I felt comfortable with it. Sorry, I did change Vader to Marek. I just wanted some points with it. This did come up as 392. So I did have a good 8-point bid. I dropped a couple of things here and there so I can have HIEs and decaps on it. So make the interdictor a bit more spicy. Last year I took no decaps and iron cannon batteries. It went all right, but I felt HIEs was way better, and it was in some extent, but it wasn't at the same time too. My choice of Piet this year was more of a meta call. I knew that slicer tools was going to be an issue, and Piet and Sovereign was there to stop anyone slicing me from an actual command that I really needed. So Sovereign can change a token, and Piet can make that token into a dial. So if they wanted to slice me and give me a squadron token, I can just change it back next turn to something whatever I feel like, and then Piet that into a dial. Palpatine on the ISD-2 was more there for the salvo tech, because we knew that CIS was going to be an issue. That's what I thought. If people wanted to salvo me, Palpatine would help me out there. XI-7s, of course, really works really well. And then the dropping leading shots as well helped as well too, because I did have Vader on the Gauze, and I was choking out. That was on my ISD-1. So I had two ECMs. So that was before the points change, and it was choking out. But now that leading shots went down to 5, I thought that I needed some dice re-rolls. I wanted Pedix instead, but leading shots is probably the better choice for it. And my interdictor is my usual interdictor choice. Comsnet, the Gazanti Comsnet was, again, probably a choice of more thinking of what I wanted as tokens. I probably should have gone with Part 3 supply. After watching a couple of games, especially with Conal Nooney, he had Part 3 supply Sovereign, and it worked much better. Because I was worried about Hondo Hanaka and giving tokens to my opponents. That was most annoying. That's why I don't like flying Hondo Hanaka, and I probably should have dropped him. So I should have just had Part 3 supply for the 3 points to give myself 391. And the other thing I probably should have done is changed a bit of the IC2. I will change the IC2 a bit later, thanks to Jason, the winner of Worlds, what he did with Expert Shield Techs. Was it Expert Shield Techs? And Pedix. I think it needs to be a bit more defensive anyway. But that was my list. That's what I took to Worlds. As I said, I didn't have much practice as much as I really wanted to. And I thought to myself, well, I've flown an ISD-2 and interdictor back in 2019. I'm sure I know what I'm doing. And my objectives for you playing at home was Advanced Gunnery, Abandoned Mining Facility, and Doom Station. The only thing that changed on that was I had Rift Ambush for red, But seeing that I had an ISD2, advanced gunnery would have been much better for it. And this was probably one of the main problems with the list. Well, one of my problems that I came up to Worlds, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's head down now. Let's go to the venue itself. The venue, for the first time ever, the first time first time I ever knew that it's ever changed the venue, it was actually changed to Milwaukee. And it was a positive change. I felt it was a much better venue to go. The Barrett Center in Milwaukee. The only downside for me was the travel itself. So for me, travel was from Melbourne to LAX, LAX to Chicago, and then bus to Milwaukee. That took me, travel time was about 25 hours. Not including the wait times at the airports and on the buses, waiting for the bus as well. That probably hurt me the most. That was the big hurt. I arrived into my hotel room late on Monday night. I did go a bit early because I knew jet lag would get me, and it did get me. So it was a good thing that I did go early. But I was absolutely knackered there. So next time probably I will make a stop somewhere. Maybe I'll stop in Chicago, or I might stop in Detroit and see Robert. He did offer me his bed over there. So maybe two flights and then a stop and then a couple of days rest and then head to Milwaukee. Now, the venue itself, the Barrett Center in Milwaukee, it was just absolutely lovely. Like, I could not fault the place. I'll just transition over. The city of Milwaukee is really nice. It felt like almost like a country town. Almost, it was very quiet. It wasn't as loud. I thought it was going to be an actual, big American city, but it was very, very. It wasn't that massive. It wasn't that busy. It only got busy during the weekend when there was AEW across the road as well. I was thinking of going and seeing AEW, and then they had the Milwaukee Bucks playing at the same time, and then there was a Kid Rock concert at the same time. So on Saturday night, it did get a little busy, but during the day it was nice and quiet. I had no issues. It was a very nice place, and I think it was a very welcome change that AdeptiCon really needed for the space. Nothing wrong with Chicago. I didn't mind Chicago, but Milwaukee was really nice. So absolutely 10 out of 10 on the Parade Center. As you can see, we actually were back in a venue hall compared to being last year at in a hallway in a hotel room. So it was really good. The center, it was massive. It was massive. It was 3 levels of gaming, and I walked around. I probably didn't see all of it, but I saw like there was all these nooks and crannies with rooms with casual gaming, and like it was 3 levels of gaming space, and you never felt crammed up. You were never crammed with people. Probably the main hall, the buying hall was a little cramped. They could have made that a little bit bigger, but the playing hall, the AMG hall, we had plenty of space for us Armada players, and it was really great to see the space that we had for Armada and to be back where with X-Wing and Legion and Shadowpoint there. So it was really good to have that space again. So yeah, it was really nice, really, really nice. And the move to Milwaukee was much needed. The only thing that I did not like was the travel, but apart from that, because the Milwaukee airport's really small. Like it was, flights to there weren't the greatest, so I took a bus instead, and the bus was a bit slow. But again, first time, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't It wasn't great. It wasn't great, but it wasn't that bad. But once you got there, it was lovely, really nice place. Um, because we were in the center of Milwaukee with the Barwood Center, there was we had restaurants all over the place. We had we had a bar across the road. We had brisket place over as well. We also had a mall as well, like a food mall where you can buy whatever you felt like. There's hot dogs and tacos. There was a great amount of food compared to what was happening in Chicago. Really great, really great. The food inside the convention center was a bit pricey, but you get what you paid for, really. Like if you had 5 minutes to go outside, even probably 10, 15 minutes to go outside and grab something from the mall, the food mall, worth it. So yeah, really well done. So first day I got there, I was on Wednesday. Said hi to people, make sure I helped Ken with his setup there. Big thanks to Iron Radio. We'll talk about a little bit more about them later and what they did for the game and for Worlds as well. Looked around, met up with Robert, and it was really good to see. It's one of probably the best things about these things is meeting up with mates, especially US mates and other the Poles, the Brits, the Germans. It's always and of course all my American friends. It was really great to meet up and say hi and talk about the great love of the game or a love of gaming in general. So it was really good to meet up on Wednesday. Had a look around, had a look around the area, sort of figured out where things was, collected my badge, and then on the prep day, I didn't want to play. I was half and half playing on the World's Prep event. The only problem with the World's Prep event, it was 4 rounds, and I'm like 4 rounds to prep for Worlds was a little too much for me. So I decided more to just hang around and, say hi to people, have my cards with me and hand out my cards. So yeah, it was really good. The best thing was that Ken he wasn't streaming that day, so we caught up and we had a game together and we played that game and we realized that the video wasn't recording properly. So we had a laugh, we had a giggle, and it was kind of a good thing because at least we got, one of the things I kind of want to do when you stream, you want to find out if you have any bugs. And for him to do that, then we found out the bugs, we sorted out the issues, we had a second game, and hopefully that will be out very shortly on Iron Radio. So it was really fun. It was really fun to hang out with Ken. As I said, last 2 Worlds has always been busy. He's always been busy, and fair enough. And running a stream and taking care of a stream is a lot of work. If for those people who don't understand, it is a very hard thing. Things will go wrong and do go wrong, and basically they will fail. When you run a stream, they will fail. You will have to be ready to respond when they do fail. And understanding this and when I stream and that, when I see Ken and running around, he's running around doing stuff, I understand. So for him to have a day off and actually have a chat and have a talk and have a game, it was really good. And it was really much fun. We really he's a really great guy off camera. You want to know, never meet your idols or anything like that, but behind the camera, he's really, away from the camera, he's a really great guy and absolutely fantastic. And we should get more time together, but of course he had his priorities, and but it was really good to actually get a game in with him. So it was really good, really good. So as I said, that was and I got 2 games in. So that was my prep event. I got 2 games of Ken. I won't spoil anything, but I felt really good about those games. So just 1 second, guys. I just want to take care of this silly message here. Clear that. There we go. All right. So that was my games. I played two games with Ken. As I said, it was really good to actually finally get a couple of games with him because, as I said, streaming is very difficult and it takes a lot of your time to set up, prepare, and also manage that stream. So we get to Worlds Day 1. So, as I said before, I was flying my fleet, and there was 147 players signed up for Day 1. That was the team event. We'll talk about that later. So, my first round opponent was Sean. Sean was flying a Republic list. He was flying an Acclimator 2, Clone Navigation Officer, Clone Hunters, Thermal Shields, Sternal Racks, Link Table Laser Towers, Implacable, Conceal with Flight Coordination Teams, Swift Return, Venator 2 with Bail Organa, Aligalia, Flight Controllers, Flag Bridge, Thermal Shields, DBYs, and Mercy Mission. And then there was Squadrons with Circuitano, Anakin Skywalker, Axe, Kickback, and 2 Arcs. I had the bid on this one. I went second, and he chose Abandoned Mining Facility. Let's leave it to that. Actually, yeah, I scored about 18 tokens, but he did destroy everything but my ISD. So the interdictor, I got a bit greedy with the abandoned mining facility tokens, and I won that one 7-4 because he did destroy everything but my ISD. So that was a win for me. So round 2, I moved down to Michael Cox. Michael, I've actually played before. We met up at 2023 Worlds as a catch-up game. So we've met before. We've played each other before. So this is a bit of a revenge tour for Michael because he was flying Riken. Ugh, Riken. I hate Riken. Riken's just horrible. So he was flying an Assault Frigate 2 with General Riken, Ramus Antilles, Boarding Troopers, ECMs, Dual Turbo Laser Turrets. Then a Corvette A with Ahsoka Tano, TRC, and Jaina Sight. Then Hammerhead with Ezra Bridger, Shriv, and External Racks. Then a GR-75 with Torren Far, Slicer Tools, and Bright Hope. Squadrons with Lando, Ketsu, Wedge, Dutch, VCX, Rogue, Green, and Gold. It was absolutely disgusting. Again, I had the bid on this one. So my bid, I was at 392. He was at 400. Yes, so I had a bid again, and he chose Advanced Gunnery, and this is where my first mistake happened. I was a bit worried about my ISD being chopped up by his squadrons, and I kind of deployed the ISD far away, and that was my Advanced Gunnery ship. In hindsight, I should have put it in more closely and actually used the ISD throwing those dice and actually using its advanced gunnery. I think it would have been a much more deadlier game. Unfortunately, because I put my ISD far away, my interdictor was absolutely chewed up and killed by Michael. So none of the advanced gunnery ships did blow up. So he did blow up my interdictor, and he won that one 7-4. So yeah, I lost the interdictor. I lost. What else did I lose? I think I lost all my squadrons and the interdictor. That sounds about right. Yeah, all my squadrons and interdictor. And he lost the hammerhead, and he lost Lando. I think it was Lando as well. Yeah, so that was his loss. So 222 to 104. So that feels like that was the hammerhead. I know I killed the hammerhead, and I think I killed a couple of his squadrons as well. So that was the 7-4 loss. So first mistake there. Third game. It had to happen, didn't it? It had to. And in the second time in a row, full worlds, I had to face an Aussie, and I was against the Sean. Oh, the Sean. And the Sean, of course, was flying a Starhawk with Krista Agate, Ray Antilles, support officer, sense team, hardened bulkheads, PDX, XI7s, and Calamity title. Then a GR75 with Torrent Far, Comset, Bright Hope, and then a Pelter with Sokotano, Projection Experts, Intensified Power, and Flechette Torpedoes. Squadrons were a YT 1300, Jan Oars, Psycho Chochu, Lando Calrissian, and Hera Syndulla. Again, I had the bid on this one, and he chose Doom Station. Now, I saw Sean's list, and I could not beat it. I could not destroy the Starhawk. There was no way I could do it. The only thing I could probably go for was the Pelter, maybe, but the Pelter was kind of too far away. So I kind of did the smart or dumb thing, or the outer rim thing, and run away with my Doom Station, and that's what I did. So I think I killed. I killed his squadron. I killed Lando. I killed something or other. I can't remember what it was. I think I killed most of his, not all of his squadrons. I didn't kill Chico. I don't think I killed Jan. I killed his YT, but that's all. I just scored about 3 points. 3 points off the 3 victory tokens off the Doom Station, and then sent the Doom Station on through the rift because that Starhawk got too close. That's my kind of objective there. Just hold on to the station as long as I can, and then when danger is near, just send it away so they can't score points on me. So I won that one again, another 7-4 victory to me, 113 points to 53. As I said, I needed to run away from this because there was no way in I would destroy anything but I would never, unless his squadrons and the Pelter would probably be the only thing I could destroy. There was no way I could destroy that, the Starhawk. So I kind of knew that I needed to run away. So that was my third round. So at this point, I was around about the 50th mark. So I was kind of okay where I was. I was quite confident in myself. I could, do well and see if I can get into the top 48. So my last round, it was against Kyle, and Kyle was running a Martuk fleet, a CIS. So he had a Providence with Martuk, Rune Harkle, Firmer Shields, Intensify, Reserve Hangar Decks, Sternal Racks, Leading Shots, H9, Invincible and Electric Countermeasures. Then he had a Recusant with Shumai, Ordnance, Reserve, Assault Concussion Missiles, Silver Mounts, and Patriot Fists. Then a hard sell with Part 3 supply, Beast of Burdens, and 4 Droid Tri-Fighter Squadrons, coming at 394. Again, I had the bid. He chose Doom Station. This game, I don't know what happened. I think I did everything right. When you think that you feel that you're doing everything right for a game and it just doesn't go right. This was it. I put he didn't realize that I could move the rift with the grav shift, and I put it right in front of Patriot's Fist. So it could not move. It was stuck at speed 1 in front of the rift. And he didn't want to move it because he knew he was going to get into, touch the rift and go to speed 0. The only downside is I flew the IST right in front of it. Yeah. So now his Patriot's Fist became an honor guard where he could just basically blast me while I was charging my IST. I got the IST right in front of the Patriot's Fist, thinking that the interdictor was at range 3 of the IST. It was not. It died. It couldn't use targeting scramblers, so I lost the IST. And on top of that, I moved my interdictor right again. I did exactly what I shouldn't have done and moved the interdictor right in front of the rift. So again, I was at speed 1, stuck, not moving anywhere, where the Providence came in and double arced me and just absolutely ripped me to bits. On top of that, he farmed my the rift. He farmed my Doom Station, negating my points. I only killed looks like two. Like I killed most of his tri-fighters, and that was it. And he absolutely whitewashed me, and it was a 4-1 loss. I don't know what happened. It was just one of these games where you just go, guess I'll lose now. And I did. I did lose. I did lose badly. Yeah. This happens. So after that, it was curtains for me. That was a 10-1 loss. You can't come back from a 10-1 loss. And I basically ended up 107th. So it's on 19 points with an MOV of 138. Strength of schedule was pretty strong. It was 6. The most funniest thing that 3 of my 4 opponents made the top cut. And I beat one of them. And that was the Sean. But congrats to Sean. He did do a 10-1 in his last game. And he did much better than... So congrats to Sean and Scott. They made the cut for the second day. Scott, my roommate, he was flying his double pickle list that he was at the Australian GT. And the Sean, I said, we're flying that the Starhawk. So props to Will as well. He also Will Ross. He came 78th, so he went 2-2 and came 22 with 2 for 22, and he did 222 tournament points. So, and he was on the final stream against unskilled first officer Nicholas Larson. So if you do catch up the Iron Radio stream, round 4 on the first day. So props to all the Aussies there. They did a really good job. Yeah, it wasn't my day. Lessons to learn from that. I think that the change of list a week beforehand needs more practice. What I learnt from this one of the best things about losing an Armada is, and goes for any player, and this is really good advice. You learn more from losses than wins. And one of my biggest takes from this is the ISD2 was good, but needed different upgrades. I'm going to definitely change how I approach the ISD2. With the change of my objectives from Rift Ambush to Advanced Gunnery was one of the other things that kind of got me. This is the gotcha bit that I kind of figured out why I didn't do too well. Back in the day, when it was my honor going to Dicta, I had Rift Ambush as my red. Banding Miner Facility and Doom Station. Everyone chose Rift Ambush. I never got to play... Well, no one plays Abandoned Mining Facility, and rarely play Doom Station. Now, when you hand out the cards, no one wants to choose Abandoned Mining Facility, and no one wants to choose Advanced Gunnery. So Doom Station was the pick of the cards. It was the one that everyone wants to do. When I was testing my list, I was always playing as first player, thinking that I was going to get outbid most of the time. But out of all my 4 games, I had the bid. I remember seeing a graph. I don't know who did the graph. I don't know if it was Andrew Bullitt or not, but like 80%. I think with my bid, I had 80% of winning the bid for the first day. Of course, it dropped much lower for the next 2 days, but I would, 80% chance of me winning the bid, and I won all the bids. So Doom Station was the pick, and as I haven't played a lot of Doom Station, I realized that it didn't work in my favor. after reviewing and watching what I've done and playing a bit with it now, I know what to do with Doom Station. I know how to take it to my advantage. With a game with the Sean, that was perfect. But my last game with Kyle, that's where it flipped on my head and it didn't work out for me. Because of course, the reason why I take Doom Station is because I've got the interdictor and I can grab, shift, and rings. I need to work on that to leverage that for me. So that was big taking from that. So learnings from this world for me: more practice, more practice, more practice, and learn your objectives. That's probably it. I look in the end of the days, I don't hate my list. I didn't hate my list. There was some, Palpatine didn't do as much as I really wanted him to do. XI7s didn't do much as I really wanted to do because I had HIEs on my interdictor, so I was really pounding shields from the other side, so it doesn't really matter. So there are some changes. I will change that list. And as I said, I didn't like Hondo because I don't like giving tokens to the opposition, especially Rebel players, because they love tokens, and the meta is very token heavy, and you don't want to give tokens out to people, and that's what you learn. So that was my day one of Worlds. Was I disappointed? Absolutely. I was absolutely disappointed. I was gutted. After making the top cut last year, I didn't expect to make cut. I just felt like I was a little bit better than 107th. In the grand scheme of things, that's what you get. That's what you get for not, practicing your list. So a top advice is practice, practice, practice. And I kind of knew at the end, I'm like, this is what you get. I said I wasn't practicing for 6 months. I wasn't practicing every week. And I changed my list a week beforehand. So you get what you get. Shout out for Downsizer Ben for making the cut. He did say that he had plans for the second day, and that's probably the best way to go around it. Make sure that you have plans and you don't think about making the cut, because that's the best way to make the cut. So I was really proud and happy for Ben for making the cut there. So top marks to him. Top marks, I said, to the two Aussie guys, to Sean and Scott, for making the cut as well. So yeah, that was my first day. Well, hey, Clint, yes, practice, learn. Well, I didn't have you to practice, Clint, so that was my problems. I didn't have any, red dice shenanigans to come towards me. So that was my problem. I didn't have you around. All right, so that was my first day. Second day, well, I, had nothing much to do, but I actually went shopping. I looked around. I had a bit of fun. I actually got a couple of things for myself, and as I said, it was it's a massive place. Got to meet around with people, and on top of that, I got to go on the Iron Radio stream, and that for me was a win. Granted, I didn't make day 2, but at least I got to do what I enjoy if I'm not playing Armada. As I said, if I'm not playing Armada, I want to be streaming Armada. And for me to be on Iron Radio's stream, it was an absolute pleasure and an honor to be on this stream. Like, I'm not one of these people that takes, I have to be number one or anything like that. We're here for the love of the game. And so is Ken. You could tell. He could have been an absolute, we're number ones. I don't care about other people, but he's more like about the Armada community. We're inclusive and we care about it. Other people and other content creators, and I'm more than happy to shout out the content creators on my channel, because it's not about hurting it's not about bettering myself. It's about bettering the game. And that's how I feel about the game. I don't care where I am. This channel was always all about just being a casual gaming channel. It was never trying to be number one or anything like that. And yeah, and the station break too. I did the station break, so I probably could tell the story now because now AMG doesn't really have much of a story, but I was technically asked from Ken to go actually do some commentary on his Worlds podcast, on his Worlds streams a couple of years back. Unfortunately, I was unable because I was blacklisted by AMG. I'm not going to go over the details there, but Ken was quite annoyed and agitated. But I understood that, and I wanted to make sure that that they continued to stream. Believe me, if they weren't streaming, I don't know. I would want someone to stream the game, and for me, Ken and John and Garrett and they do a great job. They did a great job, and they always do a great job. And Ryan as well. Sorry, I was trying to get the name on there. They do a great job with command stack, and they do a great thing about the game. And they're almost locals. They have the technology there for me to go there and lug stuff there and do that kind of stuff. It's a fair amount, but to see and to do and to see what they bring towards streaming Armada, it is really big, really great, and it just blows anything away that is close to what I have here. So, but I wasn't allowed to go on, but I was not upset or angry. I never was, never have been. I understood, but I helped out as much as I could. As much as I could be around those guys. As I said, their first couple of years of streaming, I wanted to make sure that they knew they were okay, make sure they were good, and and help them out with setting up and putting down things, and be the great community person that you want to be. You don't, as I said, I'm not here to be number one or to jeopardize anything or to sabotage people. It's not the way to go. You just want to be the great community person, and for me, I wanted to help out as much as I could, and if they didn't need help, I would stand back and let them do what they needed to do. This year, Ken said, "Bugger it, I want you in there," and I was extremely grateful and honored to be part of the Iron Radio team. As I said, he could have said no. He could have said no. This is my gig. This is my time. Why do I need someone else here? And no, he was quite open, quite cordial. And Ken and I, as I said, got really we gelled really well. As I said, their setup is just quite phenomenal. I was blown away when I was on stream. It took me a couple of minutes to get used to, because that's another thing too. When you're not used to someone else's setup, you're kind of like, where am I looking? What am I saying? What I need to do? Who's speaking? You don't want to speak over someone. You got to, have this kind of connection. And, with Ian and I, we've been together, been friends since high school. So we kind of know each other. We know when to talk. We know what to do. We know our setup. We know how things work. But when you're with someone that you've never streamed before, or you've never done anything like commentary or anything like that, you want to get the best feel for each other. So that's why I was kind of a bit hesitant at the start. And then I kind of got into my groove. But as I said, I really enjoyed their setup and their stream and how they did things there. Very complex, very well, meticulously well done. And for those people who just don't understand and might have issues with it, try to stream something. It is probably one of the hardest things to do, especially doing live stuff. As I said, streaming, filming, editing, you can kind of control that. But when you're live and actually talking to someone and actually trying to get that information towards players and trying to keep it entertaining and also informative, and also keeping an eye on technical issues, keeping an eye on the stream, keeping an eye on information that's coming up to you, and chats and all that. you've got to keep your eye on the ball. And yeah, as I said, job well done, guys. A big shout out to Ken and John from Iron Radio for what they've done for last year, and for this world as well too, and the couple of worlds as well. So, I was able to join them. I was able to join Ken at round 2 and do the commentary there. And then in the third round, I was not behind the camera. I was the courtside reporter, the tableside reporter there, and giving them the info there. If you do watch the third round game, that was the game with the Patriots fist just blanking out against Colin Looney. That was an absolute. It was one of those games you just could not believe was happening right in front of you, and it was just. You should have seen my face. Absolutely just gobsmacked with all those accuracies and a big, I feel sorry for that player. Just should have won that match, but dice, baby. Bum 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 ba da dum bum 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 ba da dum. Yeah. Anyways, so that was my second day. Unfortunately, the Aussies didn't get to the top 8 cup, but as I said, they did really well. As well as they could, as I think it's probably the word they would. I believe that Sean won one game, and Scott went 4-0. But you know what? I went 4-0 the last year as well too, so you can't really complain. They made top 8, they made the second day cut. Third day for me was really interesting because I wasn't playing, but I got an offer from Chris Cottrell. Apologies, I butchered your name, Cottrell, from the 13th Fleet, asking me if I wanted to be part of the team tournament. And I'm like, yeah, I so wanted to actually play in the team tournament. Only problem was that I didn't have a team. So for me to find someone asking to jump into the team, I'm like, yes, please let me come on. And so, it was really cool, really fun. Big shout out to my teammates. I've forgotten names again, like Chris. I've forgotten. Oh man, I'm horrible with Aaron. I'm gonna be butchering. I'm so sorry, but I got to go and do the team tournament there. Again, won my first game. I was against Mike, TX Mike. Great game, awesome game. It was abandoned mining facility, unfortunately. You don't choose abandoned mining facility. And I think he figured out in the end, you don't choose abandoned mining facility. But that was the first game. So I'll transfer there. And there we are, right there. There was us playing our games at the team championships. My second game was against Eric. He had a Radis drop. Absolutely smashed me. I could have destroyed his MC75. All I needed was 4 hits with Marek and Jendon double tap. Hit, and then of course, accuracy. Leaves him on 1 health. But I lost that one 10-1. And then another 10... was it a 10-1? I think it was. Yeah, it was a 10-1 loss. And then another 10-1 loss to Harry Fuzzball. See, I'm horrible with names. But, it was... it was the last... the last game was it was against a Lumi fleet, and Lumi fleet. I had to come against a Lumi fleet, and oh my god, I was trying to target his victory, and it just would not die. It just would not die. It was disgusting. It was just Justin, laughing fuzzball. That's him, Justin. He just would not die. It just would not die. I finally killed it, but I lost everything else before I killed it. Another, it was a 7-4 loss actually, so it wasn't that bad. Because I killed his Venator 2 thanks to my interdictor just HIing a lot, and I killed his Victory, but his Acclamator was still alive. But yeah, again, it was a good day of. I got to play for 3 rounds of Armada. Got to be with, and again, more around with people playing Armada. That's what you go for AdeptiCon. You play Armada, you play games, to be with friends, and of course just to have a bit of fun. And of course I'll put this one here. This is not me. This is Alan Mercier. That was Will. He's the one who put these Kang koalas all over the place. He put one on the Iron Radio tripod, and then he's put one on the judge's laptop there without Mercier knowing. So Alan didn't know that. So it was a good laugh. It was a good weekend of gaming, and it was really quite fun. So let's talk about the finals as well, and the lists as well. So let's transfer over to myself so I can get that sorted. Why is it not transferring? Why is it not doing that? Great. It's not transferring. There we go. Cool. Do it that way then. Fine. So that was my 3 days of Armada. Let's read out the results. And let's go through the lists as well. Very quickly. If you want, a better analysis of the top players, I'm not that guy. I'm just talking about my experiences, my, views on Adepticon, but I will go through them, as I said, quite quickly. And so here's the top 8 cut. So in first place was Jason Hungley, so J. Paul Penny. He was flying the Old Guard, so the dual ISC2 with Moff Jerry, Expert Shield Tech, Boarding Troopers, Early Warning Systems, PIDIX, Point Defense, dual Turbo Laser Towers. One had Chimera with Entrapment Formation, and then 2 Gauzzers, 1 Minister Tour Comsat Suppressor ECMs, Darth Vader Comsat, and no squadrons for 398 points. Wow, just, congratulations to Jason, first off, I've got to say. He was the runner-up at 2023 Worlds, if you did watch the Iron Radio broadcast of that. It was a mutual destruction with the winner of that year, and it was James McCartney from the UK. So it was really a kind of road redemption for him, and a job well done for him, to go 2 big ships, squadronless, in a final, and to get all the way and win the whole thing. Job well done. It was a true masterclass on how to fly and how to fly right. If you do get a chance to watch the final table, I highly recommend, and you'll see how far he can turn ISDs with Jerry. But yeah, it was really well done, really well flown. I wish I got to see a little bit more of that flying, because I would really like to see how that was done. But job well done. As all I hear is just great guys, great, really nice guy, Jason. Really great, part of the Texas community. He did create a campaign, I believe, a Clone Wars campaign so I need to check that out. So apparently he's giving up. He's he's hanging up the boots, and he's leaving on a high. So I congratulate him for a job well done. And as I said, job well done, mate. Taking it back home to the US, and a win for Texas as well. So, as I said, to go squadronless, 2 big ships, job well done. In second, so he went free and sip in the last day with 23 tournament points and MOV of 517. Ouch. Second place was Damon Jordan, so Santos. Santos was flying the, Providence, Martuk, Invincible, Rune Harko, Reserve Hangar Decks, Thermal Shields, Early Warning Systems, H9s, PDX, External Racks, Intensify Firepower, with a Recusant, Patriots, Tax, Sensitive, Second Decks, Spinal Armors, and External Racks, 2 Gozzers, and 7 Vultures. Nasty. It was really good to see. I did play Damon not last year, the year before, and he pantsed me. he won the last chance qualifier, and of course I got him in the first round. Absolutely pants me. He's a great Separatist player. Anyone who wants to fly Separatist, definitely watch what he does. But I believe he missed the cut for top 8 last year or something like that. He missed something. He was something that close, but a job well done coming second. In third place was Ryan Becker. So Ice Becker, member of the Iron Radio Command Stack team. He was flying, of course. He was flying Radis. And Radis was everywhere. It was absolutely a lot of Radis happening there. So he was flying MC-75, Admiral Radis, Sokatano, Flagbridge, Reinforced Blast Doors, External Racks, PDX, Intensify Firepower, GR-75, Leogana Comsnet, another MC-75 with Lando Calrissian, Boarding Troopers, Reinforced Blast Doors, External Racks, Quad Battery Turrets, and Profundity Tidal. Then he's got a Corvette 90, Corvette B with Hornet Hanaka and Overload Pulse. Squadrons Ashara Bay and Chaco Chochu. Again, he was on the top table with Jason at the end. He was coming literally second. And again, job well done. He has been flying that Overload Pulse Radis fleet for a while, and he knew he was something onto a trick. And when the MC-75s went down in price, oh man, that was the opening that, well, he didn't need it, but now he could fit 2 MC-75s thanks to the points reduction. And he did really well, and he was so close to winning the whole thing. And as I said, if you do get to watch the final match on radio, please do so. Make sure you do. In fourth place was Colin Looney. He was flying. He is a Sloan list, so this is where I got the game I got to see when I was in courtside. So I got to see the seat. So it was a ISC Kuwait refit with Admiral Sloan, Admiral Montferrat, Boarding Troopers, ECMs, Leading Shops, External Racks, and Sovereign Title, with Quasar 1 with Admiral Churno, Flight Controllers, Booster Comms, and Squall again, and parts, and a Kazanti with Part 3 supply. Squadrons were Darth Vader, Colonel Jenon, Marek Seal, Mauler Miffle, Saber Squadron, and 2 of TIE Advance Squadrons. 2 of TIE Advance was really nice to see, and Black Squadron. So, really nice to see 2 advances coming back. Definitely for that escort. Probably to help out, stop going after Mauler and Saber and that, and Marek and Jenon. You can just block them to give a couple of turns to save them. But really, and of course they have black dice bombing, so kind of really good for bombing. But really interesting fleet, and this is where I got my Sovereign Part 3 supply idea from. So this is, probably the better way to go if you have Sovereign. In fifth place was Adam Newton. He was flying, of course, Angry Ewok. Of course, he was flying Assault Frigate Mark 2B, Admiral Akbar, Gallant Haven, Intel Officer, Kaken Sholin, Electric Countermeasures, XI-7s, then a Corvette with Genocide, Turbolaser Reroute Circuits, GR-75, Torrent Far, Boosted Comms, Comsnet, and then another GR-75 with Boosted Comms, Comsnet. Then squadrons are Janors, Lando, Shara, Tycho, A-Wings, 2 YT 2400s, and 1 VCX 100. Again, another top rate player, just, a top, Angry Ewok, just knowing Rebels and knowing what to do and knowing how to get there, and job well done for him to, still playing, the same kind of archetype that he does, and he does so well. Make sure you do, like I've watched a couple of his videos on the Angry Rock channel. He has some really good ideas and really good strategy. So make sure you do check him out. Nicholas Brown was in 6th place with 15 tournament points, 2 and 1. So he was flying a Radis drop as well. So MC-80, Command Cruiser with Admiral Radis, Expert Shield Techs, Engine Techs, Flag Bridge, Electric Countermeasures, PDX, Home 1, and Intensified Firepower. Then MC-75 with Wall Experts, Ordnance Experts, Electric Countermeasures, expanded launches, external racks, and profundity title. Then a Corvette B with Honda Hanaka projection experts and Tantive 4. Then a Hammerhead with veteran captain Shriv and external racks, and no squadrons for 391 points. Yeah. Yeah, again, the point reductions for the MC75 and the MC80s it just kind of boosted these lists here. In 7th place, in 14 tournament points and 0 wins and 3 losses, was Jakub. Jakub was flying an assault frigate Mark 2B with Admiral Akbar, Intel Officer, Kekin Sholin, electric countermeasures and slave turrets, and an MC30 expert shield turrets, organized experts, external racks, H-Knights and Foresight title. Then 2 GR75, one's with Ezra Bridger and Comsat, and one with Honda Hanaka with Comsat. Squadrons were Lando, Janos, Sharabe, Tycho, YT-2400s, and an A-Wing squadron. So there's a very it's same patterns with Rebel squadrons. There's always Lando, there's always Shara, there's always Tycho. They're probably the big 3 that you'll see a lot. In 8th place was Reese. Reese was 1 win and 2 losses with 11 tournament points. I did play Reese last year. He was flying a Republic fleet at this time, but he went with an Imperial fleet and was really good. He went with an Onega testbed with General Armada, Governor Price, Guy Chief Vermilion, Ordnance Experts, all Barber Panel Cannons. Victory 2 with Minister Tour, gun teams, decaps, XI7s, point defense, iron cannons, and Harrow Tyler with electric countermeasures, a Goz with Darth Vader, a Pass 3 supply, and then another Goz with Comsat, and then Captain Jonas and 5 TIE fighters. 390 points. So job well done on that list getting there. Still, Onegas are still annoying and still can hurt badly, and of course the points drop on victories was probably the reason why that was there. And a job well done to the top 8 for getting there. I would love to be there, but I'm not that good. I'm somewhere, but I'm not that there. But hopefully one day, and that's probably a challenge to all Aussie players. I want to see an Aussie player in the top 8 one year. Let's hope so, eh? All right. Also, yeah. So that's really it. So that was Worlds, as I said. Highly recommended to any person that wants to go to Worlds. I highly recommend you to make the time and the effort to head to Worlds. It was such an amazing experience to meet the community and just to see, the fun and the after party. Don't forget about the after party. Went to the Hyatt, into the Hyatt. We basically filled out the Hyatt and basically drank and played games, and playing as Codemasters game was really, really interesting. And it was really good to catch up and have a chat with everyone, and it was really good. As I said, it was a party. It was a party atmosphere. As much as AMG did nothing, didn't acknowledging us, didn't send a rep to say hi to us or even to chat to us, which was kind of weird. Like last couple of years, there was always an AMG rep watching us or giving us, making sure they gave the trophy out. Nothing this year. They did not even approach us this year, which was kind of a bit sad. I understand why they wouldn't do that, but still, it was a bit sad they didn't want to approach us. They couldn't even say thank you and all the best. Not even that. But it was a really party atmosphere. It was really good to meet the community. I hope for all those players that got all those Bluey cards, I hope you enjoy them. I know it was such a great, amazing response to the Bluey cards, and I kind of knew that they were going to be kind of a success. Those cards, so I'm grateful and I'm happy that the players walked away with stuff. So I'm going to thank the community as always. Just amazing community, amazing set of people. Amazing. It's just amazing to be around the Armada community. Big thanks. I'm going to just say all the thanks right now. So big thanks to our judges. So Dennis, Alan, Jackson and Stuart. Jobs well done for them. Like, ran really smoothly this year. That break in between was really well done. Probably a bit too long, but understandable. It gave some time to pack up, think, get to tables, set up. Also probably helped with, I believe, helped out with streaming as well too. So that was really good. So job well done, guys. When we needed, and I needed a judge, I put my hand up. No, you were guys were Johnny on the spot, and you came out of nowhere, and you were really great. You set the standard for judging. So job well done for you guys. Big thanks to the Aussie crew, Scott, Will, and Sean. Job well done for the Aussie crew coming over and showing Australia proud and showing and flying the flag for Australian Armada. I hope you get a chance next year, if there is a next year. Job well done for them. As I said, a big congratulations to Jason Hungley for winning Worlds as well. Big shout out to him. As I said, shook his hand and said well done, and said, congratulations on your revenge tour. And I know you're going to go out in style. Again, big thanks to Iron Radio and Ken and the work he did for setting up the stream and promoting the game of Armada. As I said before, as all the stuff that I said before, it's just we do this for the love of the game. We don't do it we don't do it for money. We don't do it for award. We don't do it for the fame and glory. We do it for the love of the game, and that's what he's done. And I hopefully, we'll get to see further things happening from that. I can't say much, but I don't know much for starters, but that's what I want to keep it to there. I want to thank Chris from the 13th Fleet. Make sure you do check him out. I'll make sure I'll list a link to on my on the description. So the 13th Fleet, so on Twitch and YouTube, they do some streaming as well. So he's a new upcoming streamer. Make sure you do check him out. Thank you for inviting me onto your team. It was really great to actually meet up. As I said, I watch your stuff. I'm the guy always commenting in your streams, and as I said, it's always good to support other people making content, and I hope to see content from other people showing and supporting this great game. And lastly, I want to thank my wife and my family. Without her support and love, and allowing me to do what I do, to go 26 hours halfway across the world to play plastic spaceships. I'm totally grateful and never heard her debt. So I want to thank Jessica, Harriet, and Gaius, my son and daughter, and my family for allowing me to do what I enjoy. And and especially for my wife Jessica, she's fully supportive of what I do and say, and I can't have it anything better. And lastly, of course, Armada community, just each and every one of you who show up and give to the game. Hey Ken, how you doing? Yay! I did. Apologies, I kind of fudged on the times there, so I was 2 hours early on there, so I do apologise for that. It was supposed to be not 6:30. I was supposed to be 8:30 start. So yeah, so I'm just coming to the end here. So big thanks to you guys at Iron Radio, Ken, John, Garrett, and Ryan for the awesome stuff that you do bring out. And a big thanks to, of course, Garrett from Admiraltator as well. The awesome stuff that he's produced. I've taken away some stuff with me. I'm going to talk about that very shortly. What I brought back with me, back from Worlds. There's an obvious reason for that, and we'll get to that very shortly. Now let's look at my agenda here. I do want to say a couple of things before I move on to my final thing I want to talk about. If you ever get the chance to go to Worlds, or AdeptiCon. Make the chance, make the opportunity. You just don't know what, if you don't know what's going to happen next year or the year after. For those people on the fence, probably thinking, am I good enough? Am I great enough to be there? It doesn't really matter. All it is a celebration of the game. You don't have to be great. You don't have to be good. You just knowing the game and enjoying the game is probably the best thing about it. And that's what I believe. As I said, highly recommended. This year, as I said at the start, this was probably one of the best Adepticons I've been to. And the change of venue was highly, highly needed. As I said, 3 levels, plenty of space. We weren't jammed up in a hallway this time around. We had the space to do things and the time to do things. So it was really well done. And top marks for Adepticon for making that move and changing venues. So really well done. Really well done. What can you as a Armada player do to keep this game up and running is my question to you. My answer is show up to events, create events. If someone's got an event, make sure that you spread the word. Tell people that games are still happening. This game is still happening. If you don't have a community, create one. Work. Get your friends together and play this game. It is a great game. I still love it to bits. And I wish I could play more. Unfortunately, life and commitments kind of get in the way, but it doesn't mean that you need to stop. So I hear like people saying, well, what can I do as a player? Just play the game. Just show up and play the game. Come to Worlds. Come to your locals. Go to casual nights. Make playing groups. Just come. And if you build it, they will come. That's all I've got to say. I'm going to read one quick thing from Mackenzie. He did say a big thank you on the Armada hub, and one of the things that kind of it does, I'm going to say it verbatim what it says here. So finally, to the community. Though AMG has decided that our game may be over, clearly we believe otherwise. 150 people. We set a record. We have more attendance than Legion and any other active AMG game. We have players travel from across the globe, even with political stability and conflict. No matter what may be happening out there, in a place will always exist here. A place where players can come together in a community and pursue a passion together, regardless of belief or circumstances. As lame as it may sound, thank you for playing. Thank you for taking part. Armada dies when we say it does, and not a moment too sooner. And that's probably that. That was from Mark. And you know, he's a great character. That probably is the thing that resounds with me. AMG has, you know, I was quite upset when they pulled the plug on this game, and you can tell when I did the live stream 2 hours after that. But I've come to a sense of renewal, and I know and resolve that we are the custodians of this game, and we will keep it alive as long as we want to. And what I saw at Worlds, just as I said, people coming together, handing stuff out, being together. The stuff I got cards. I got thanks to Brody as well. I got a Shadowcaster card. A couple of 3D printed models as well too, and all these lovely things. Just people just sharing and being there and enjoying the Armada process and enjoying the Armada journey is probably a great way for you guys to keep the game running. You might have the prizes and the support that you need, but make sure that the person next to you has something. And that's probably why I end up on here. As for next year, I don't know what's going to happen. Will there be Armada Worlds? Probably. Who's going to run it? Don't know. But I do say this to us, my Australian community. If you have the chance to head to AdeptiCon, please do. Even if there is no official Armada Worlds, there will be some Armada in some kind of sense. The community will get together and we'll have a good time. That's all I can say. I wish, that's all I know. And that's all I'm going to say. I will hope there will be some kind of news, maybe at the end of the year. I'm not quite sure. All I'm certain is, will there be Armada somewhere else? 100% yeah. 100%. 100%. Thanks, Ken. As Ken says, will there be Armada Words at AdeptiCon? Just ask me in a week. I might have some news. And again, big thanks, Ken, for bringing that out there for me. I didn't want to say that. That's not my thing to say. That's your thing to say. But to my all I can say is to my Australian community, start saving. Come to AdeptiCon. It is an absolute blast. As I said, every time I go, it's just a great sense of community, and it's highly worth it. As I said, it's probably one of the most hardest things for us as Australians to get over there. But I highly recommend it, even if it's just you do that once off. Highly recommend. So yeah, again, big thank you. As I said, it was probably one of my best worlds. Not position-wise, but just to get to do what I want to do. As I said, I have a supporting family and a great community backing me doing what I do here today. All right, cool. That's my AdeptiCon wrap up. As I said, great game, great venue. As I said, Milwaukee, really nice place. Let's head on to other news. As I said, I walked away with a couple of Adepticator stuff. Why do you say that? Well, we have the next big event coming up. And what is it? It is the Grand Casual, of course. On the 7th and 8th of June, I am hosting the Grand Casual at Tez's Games. I'm currently working on the Players Pack at the moment, so hopefully I'll be out in that very shortly. But what I was talking about Adepticator, but why am I talking about Adepticator about Grand Casual? Our prize support. Probably the best thing about being over there is I got some Adepticator's prize support, and I saved away with the shipping. So as you can see here is the prize support that it is on offer for the Grand Casual. And you can see there is a fair amount of it. So it is massive. So I haven't put out the prize pack, what you're going to win, but you are going to walk away a fair amount of things. So the first place player will win the Fly Casual round counter and tokens. The round counter centered in the middle there. That's the first place prize. Plus, we'll walk away with a set of this year's World's Dice. Now, there will be a door prize of this year's World's Prize as well. So anyone can win, apart from the first place player, can win World's Dice as well too. So I've got another set of World's Dice there for us. For other players. As you can see, there are command stack tokens. There are shield tokens. There are tokens. There are obstacles. Asteroids. There are from Adepticator. I have also got some GT dice and GT cards from last year's Brisbane Grand Tournament, thanks to Phoenix Games, who had some leftovers. So I've been collecting, and this will be the prize set coming out here. So stay tuned. You will not walk away empty-handed. I do warn now that it is at Tezos Games and it will be a limited of 16 players. So, as I said, Grand Casual will be on the 7th and 8th of June. The first day will be just a 3-round Swiss tournament. And then the second day will be just your casual games of casual fun. It'll probably be Who's the Boss for those players who want to continue on playing. There'll be some other prizes there for them as well. So, yes, you need more red dice, Clint. And no, you're welcome, Ken. I was more than happy to help out. As I said, I was saying before, I understand the nuances of running a stream, and it is more than happy to help. And as I said, we are a community, and we're always here to help. So yes, Grand Casual coming shortly. As I said, players pack will be out shortly, and more details will be coming up very shortly further on. But you have it here first on Talk Casual. The prize support right there is happening right there. So there is a fair amount, and there is a bit more. I haven't put all the prizes there, but I just want to give you a bit of a smorgasbord for all the viewers watching here at home. And there it is, the prize support happening there. So make sure you keep an eye out for the Grand Casual and your sign-ups. As I said, it is limited to 16 players for the 3-round tournament. Okay, and there we are. Cool, awesome. Okay, that's it for me tonight. I hope you enjoyed our program. As I said, it was a fun event. I wish I could have done a little bit more. As I said, I wish I could have streamed last weekend, but as I said, I did catch the convention flu, and I'm finally got my voice back to actually speak. But I did have fun. It was really great catching up, and as I said before, really good to. It was a really good 3 days of Armadaing. 4 days if you want to count Wednesday as well. As I said, catching up with the community as well. So it was really good, really good. And as I said, for those people who are on the fence who haven't decided to go to AdeptiCon, highly recommend. Even if you don't get to play all 3 days of Armada, you can make the chance to play Armada. And then there's other things to do as well. And of course, just hanging out with friends and the community is really good. All right, that's it for tonight, guys. I hope you enjoyed the program. Make sure you hit the like, and make sure you watch for any further content that's coming through. As I said, I'll be back with more further details on the Grand Casual. But that's it. Make sure, and I'll see you next time. Remember, like, subscribe, follow us on the socials, and fly casual. See ya!